California saw record low population growth in 2020, as the state lost more residents than it gained for the second consecutive year. About 135,600 more people left the state than moved in. Many of them are coming to Texas. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is among the notable business leaders who left California for no income tax Texas this year. Many long-term companies that were based in California moved out of state to get relief from taxes and overregulation that makes it impossible to meet productivity goals. I expect it will get much worse over the next few years. In addition, there is a big trend of people who retire to move out due to the extreme cost of living. People and companies are finally seeing what direction California is going, and it doesn't look good. I don't blame them. New York is just as bad, but don't tell Cuomo that. New York is second. Cuomo has destroyed this wonderful state. He's continued the same legacy as his father. The get-rich-quick scheme of corrupt politicians are better known as their economic plan that destroys the income of taxpayers, all the while taxing them up the wazoo to fill their own pockets. The real problem with the exodus from California and New York is the people leaving are not the ones living off the taxpayer. The ones that are leaving have jobs and/or money. The people leaving are of higher incomes, while those staying are of lower incomes. California cannot sustain supporting new immigrants when companies and those earning incomes leave. It's going to be hard to fund a welfare state when your producers have left, and you're left with millions of bums and foreigners. The mass exodus will continue for people and businesses. Policies, taxation, and BS regulations chase them all away. About 500,000, mostly middle-class people a year leave, but the numbers are offset mostly by about 365,000 international immigrants and Americans from other states moving in. Many of whom end up camping on the sidewalks or live in squalid migrant camps around agricultural areas. The net loss is 135,000 leaving. 135,600 more people moved out than moved in. The ones going out are the taxpayers and producers. The ones coming in are the entitlement sponges and freebie grabbers. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also hit the notification bell. Many of you have asked me where they can buy silver and gold bullion. You will find in the description box the links where you can buy American Silver Eagle, silver bars, or rounds. I highly recommend that you start stacking some silver bullion for the future. The real figures show that California has lost more than 250,000 a year for several years, and the numbers get larger every year. California also loses tens of thousands of businesses every year, and that number increases every year as well. California has the widest difference between poor class and rich class, and the vast majority of folks moving out there are below the living wage. Many people with good-paying jobs left to be replaced by fewer lower-waged ones. A bad harbinger for California's future. The folks with money are leaving, and the ones that are showing up need handouts just to survive. Bankruptcy looms ahead. And to make up for the lost tax revenue, they will raise taxes, and even more businesses and people will leave. Newsom is trying to set up a 10-year tax plan so big businesses that leave California can still be taxed by California. His thinking is they earned the money here, so they should pay forever. It's getting so bad in California, even those without jobs are beginning to leave. The working taxpayers are leaving while homeless, criminals, and illegals are moving in. The exodus will continue, leaving California to be the wilderness at this juncture. With their rip-off of the citizens monetarily, the wilderness will become more barren. The best and the brightest are leaving, taking their incomes and companies with them. The incoming are poverty-stricken, uneducated immigrants fleeing socialist utopias. California is in a race to the bottom. Cities like San Francisco, where the cost of living is notoriously high, have seen an exodus of residents who have more flexibility to work remotely during the pandemic and beyond. It's clearly not business-friendly, particularly if you want to manufacture goods, like Tesla and HP. However, the real driver for most of the moves, the hundreds of thousands of people, are the cost of living, mostly housing, high taxes, crime, and illegal immigrants. Homeowners are still getting taxed for schools that aren't open. The money is not going to the schools either. What isn't counted are the numbers of people over the years who considered moving to California to take a job but decided against it because of the high cost of living. The cost of living calculators is all over the internet. The problem with California is that you may get a higher salary, but it puts you in a higher federal tax bracket, then add state and local taxes, and the exorbitant cost of housing, energy, etc., and you will move to some other state. Less gross pay but more net and other lower expenses result in more spendable cash and a higher quality of life, with money left over for retirement investment. Thousands are moving to Arizona and Texas and bringing their great ideas with them. The problem is, these people are leaving California, but they arrive in other states and support the same system, which caused the problem. They are allegedly fed up with big government and leaving but still dragging their pro-big government philosophy with them. They metastasize from the cesspool they themselves created and then spread their cancer to destroy other states. They spread out and destroy the rest of the country as they did to California. Washington state has gone bonkers. Oregon state is not far behind. When the Europeans left Europe, they didn't try to change American into Europe, they embraced America for its freedoms and ideals. The whole West Coast is leaving. LA, Seattle, Portland. People have had it with incompetent leaders, high taxes. New York is following their example on the East Coast for the same reasons. There are parts of California that certainly could do with fewer people. 100,000 here or there would hardly make a dent in some parts, like LA. Overcrowding is an issue, especially around the big cities. However, the state's health isn't just a numbers count. It's about who it is coming into the state and who it is moving out. By 2025, an extreme majority of those who haven't left the state will be comprised of mostly illegals and those that use and abuse the welfare system. Very few taxpayers will be left. And the remaining are hoping that Newsom is the next to move. Politicians made a dump out of California, Chicago, Portland, Seattle, New York and Philadelphia. Now they are moving to new areas to ruin them. Illinois has the highest overall tax rate in the country: income taxes, property taxes, state and local sales taxes. They also decided to address the population exodus and the state's budget deficit by raising taxes. Sadly, many of those leaving bring their views to other parts of the US and screw things up for normal people. They can't stand what they created in California. The problem is they will go somewhere else and start the same stupid process and destroy that state too. California is a state of total mismanagement. Losing a lot of taxpayers that are fed up. All the smart people are fleeing, just like New York residents. When you include all the tech companies leaving California this year, they will be in very bad shape if Newsom continues to spend money on social programs, so-called environmental issues, and I could go on. The taxpayers will be forced to pay the bill. Newsom and other politicians in California have trashed this state. He doesn't care about this state or its citizens, he cares about the power and control he can wield over its citizens. The only thing Newsom is looking at and has from the inception of his political career is the next position he wants to hold and who he has to walk over to get it, in this case, California. He has failed Californians miserably. He has turned this state into a safe haven for illegals, criminals, drug addicts, homeless, and has insisted on pet projects that have cost the state millions on the backs of middle-class Americans and law-abiding tax-paying citizens, which have become the last to be heard or taken care of. The only thing Newsom has managed to do successfully is inflating his ego. Newsom's a modern-day version of the Roman Emperor Nero playing the fiddle while watching Rome burn. Recall, recall, recall. Get him out before he kills off everyone in this state due to his draconian restrictions. Illinois is the same. High taxes drive people and businesses out. Most who move in are illegals or low-wage immigrants. New York, California, and Illinois all fail to understand the impact of raising taxes. Schools used to be great, now just mediocre. Union giveaways have broken the state's pensions. They cause their own problems and income inequality. San Francisco has 40,000 city employees and 880,000 residents, and those employees are paid $3.7 billion. Indianapolis has 1.8 million people and 7,500 employees. Their wealth is squandered on a political machine that is inefficient and becomes ruling elites. The pensions put them in the top 5% of the wealth. What's the difference between California and the Titanic? The Titanic had lights on when it went down. California, Washington, Illinois, New York, and New Jersey are losing residents as if they were losing blood from a major artery. And those residents that are leaving are for the most part the cream of the crop. The loss of tax revenues will be devastating. This is why Nancy Pelosi is insisting on $500 billion in stimulus to be allocated to those failing states and cities. Mark my words, the governors of those states will start putting policies in place that will make it illegal to move out of the state without permission. E.g., you can only move out if you can prove that your work requires it, family emergency, whatever, and, even then, if you do qualify to move out, you will still have to pay taxes to that state after your move. Maybe it's time we stop being chased out of our homes, communities, and states and start tossing out the crazy leadership, destroying them. Our liberties and freedoms are under assault from every direction by all facets of the America-hating factions. The clear goal is to collapse New York, California, Illinois, the hugs of the USA. Clearly planned. The homeless have taken over the best parts of California. Yet the taxpayers can't do a thing about it. I often wonder if the rest of the country or the world knows how bad this homeless situation has become in California. I challenge anyone to find a slum anywhere in the world that rivals what is happening right here in our own backyard. It is utterly shocking. Nobody wants those people moving to their state. Their morals, ethics, politics, culture are not what we want. Please stay where you're at and fix your problems, don't bring them with you. And now that a lot of workers can work remotely, there is even more reason to leave the high taxation states. California and New York are dead. The awful thing is that California used to be a wonderful place to live, before the politicians decided to wreck it. It is a poop hole allowing defecation on streets. Newsom, Pelosi. Mad Max has destroyed a state people used to love to visit. Not anymore. There's bad governance. And then there's California-level bad governance. It's so bad. There's no voting your way out of it. By 2035, California will become Venezuela. This was the Atlantis report. Please like, share, leave me a comment, subscribe. And please take some time to subscribe to my backup channels, I do upload videos there too. You'll find the links in the description box. You will also find a PayPal link if you want to make a donation. Thank you wholeheartedly to all those of you who have already donated. Stay safe and healthy, friends.